Welcome to CBS Sports HQ, presented by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Make every moment more. Happy to be alongside Kyle Long and Pete Prisco. I'm Tommy Tran, filling in for Chris Hassel.
Welcome, Tommy.
I'm returning the favor.
It's good to see you. Yeah.
Hassel filled in for me while I was on paternity leave, and he's on vacation for the holidays, so happy to be on a very watched segment here.
We're just here every single week.
You're a grinder, Pete. Everybody knows that. Every holiday, you're working it like you grind tape.
Yep.
And we're going through the power rankings, which culminated with the Packers beating the Saints last night in shutout fashion. But here's a look at the latest power rankings from our Pete Prisco. The biggest movement in terms of the top 10 came from the Commanders with their win over the Eagles. Washington up a couple spots to 8, while Philly goes from 2 to 4. And then down at the bottom, of course, the same type of teams, although there's some movement from the Raiders, although if you ask Raider Nation, perhaps not the best thing for them moving forward.
Dumb.
Very Raiders.
Yeah.
Very Raiders.
Yeah. Yes, and we'll get to that.
Excrement.
We'll get to that.
Come on, that's a great one.
That's a deep tease. We'll get to that and the Raiders in just a second. But the Packers, which, by the way, Pete Prisco, you've been putting 17 weeks worth of power rankings. Your very first one had the Packers number 2 overall, and your pick to go to the Super Bowl. Where are you at with this Packers team after last night?
Love it. The last 2 weeks, really love it. Physical. They get after it in the run game. They can get after you rushing the passer. They're so much more athletic and tougher on defense. Look, my pick before the season was based on Jordan Love being able to...
Quarterback, Matt LaFleur, tremendous coach. Josh Jacobs, an absolute ass kicker in the run game, and you could see it from the very onset of last night. We knew it wasn't going to be a Saints win. I didn't know it was going to be a blow the doors off the New Orleans Saints type game, and they set the precedent early. Josh Jacobs taking the Honey Badger to the ground right there outside the goal line. But this team is built to do this. They can run the football, they can throw it, they've got a litany of options on the outside, and now they get their other tight end back. You know, we've seen Tucker Kraft, we got Luke Musgrave now, so we can get some different personnel. I anticipate them getting more creative and more dangerous as we go.
And they haven't had Alexander, which has made the other corners, like Stokes has been much better than he's ever been, I think, in the last couple of weeks. They didn't have Evan Williams last night. I mean, you look at this group, they're getting guys back, they're going to be even better. I love this team. You know, we always talk about the top teams in this league, and we always focus on the quarterback, but the next thing you should always focus on, and we talk about it all the time, is your brethren, the offensive line.
Yeah.
The Packers offensive line, really good, by the way.
A bunch of guys who don't care if we know their names or not.
They just
we know that group of 5 guys, they can roll people off the ball.
Yep.
Last 2 weeks, by the way, that Pete's talked about the Packers playing in prime time and playing very well, back into the top 5 in his power rankings. Let's talk about the aforementioned Commanders, who are coming in the top 10 to move a couple of slots to 8. Now, Pete, curious to get your thoughts and if you consider to move them up even higher given the 5 turnover performance. Jalen Hurts going out with concussion. Take me through the Commanders here at number 8.
Yeah, and I think you have to look at some of that stuff. I mean, they beat it. This was a moment you get the ball with a chance to go win it 53 yards away, and you go do it. That's with 6 seconds left. That's your moment. He's arrived. He told everybody. Everybody now knows it's not. And when they get to the postseason, that moment will stand out because it can be leading to something else. So I love what they did the other day.
Yeah, and we always talk about culture being a big thing that determines success. They've got a guy in Dan Quinn who instills a tremendous culture. You add that to Jaden Daniels, otherworldly talents at the quarterback position. Anything can happen on any given Sunday. When you got that guy at quarterback, look, he throws an interception with like 5 minutes to go, and I'm firing up my tweets because I'm a big Caleb guy, so I got to stay on that side of the aisle. But then the guy just doesn't blink. He goes out there, drives him down the field, no time left on the clock, touchdown Commanders. It is frustrating to watch if you're playing against Jaden Daniels every week.
You need to get on the other side of the aisle quickly.
Man, I bleed orange and blue, navy and orange.
I mean, look, Caleb Williams has played some good football too, but the other guy's special.
He's special.
He's special.
Yeah, he certainly is. Again, the Commanders win total coming into the season 6.5. They blew by that. Had a little bit of a hiccup there, but has come back nicely there to make that playoff push. Take a look now from 11 through 20. We're going to talk about a couple of teams here on that list. But let's first start with the Houston Texans, Pete, which went into Arrowhead, was unable to get that victory against Kansas City, but they have no movement for you in your power rankings.
No, and again, they're a team that's a playoff team. They won a division, but they won a division in a horrible division for a bad year. I mean, it's a bad year for that division. The Jaguars stink. The Titans really stink. Both those teams really stink. And then the Colts aren't really that
face of their leader, and I think it's indicative indicative of this Houston Texas program right now.
And I know why they're playing that. Jack, our producer, is clearly playing that video to
tug at your heartstrings?
To light me up. That's why he's trying to do it. Look, and I said it on a podcast today. I think he went overboard with it. I really do. And all fairness to the kid, you're entitled to grieve or whatever way you want to. Me personally, he go over there. He's your best friend. Get on a knee. Pray with him, tell him you're so sorry about it, and then step away. You're the quarterback of that football team. You can't be showing the rest of those guys that you're a broken down mess in that moment. And then he took it to the bench. That's my only criticism of him. Look, more power to you. You can grieve any way you want to. But it's also, from a football standpoint, when I look at that, I don't think it's a good look for your starting quarterback to be on the sideline with the towel over his head crying in the big moment. You disagree with me. I know you do.
We can all agree that sometimes we forget that these guys are human, particularly the superstars. Well, we just saw from C.J. Stroud that he's very much human, and he obviously does have a very unique and special relationship with Tank Dell. That being said, you are the leader of the football team, and guys are looking to you to carry on with their, I'm looking at you to see what you're going to be doing as the quarterback, and that's probably how I'm going to go.
The fact that he addressed it a couple different times tells me that he probably thought he went a little overboard.
He regrets it.
Yeah.
But in the moment, you can understand it, given everything that they've
You forget you're on TV. You forget that people are watching.
The TV, look, the TV part of it, who cares what we think? I'm talking about from a football standpoint. If I was on that team, I would have gone to that sideline and said, okay, CJ, enough's enough. It's time to get your head back into the game, and we got to go out and play football.
I don't know if you say get your head back in the game, but you say, hey, we got to lock in here. Let's go. We got a game to play. Lock in.
somewhere else.
I feel bad for the Texans, though.
It's terrible. Look, and we all want Tank Dell back. He's a great player. I want him on the field, and I get it. He's one of his best friends, but you're the quarterback of that team, and he had to handle it a little bit differently, I thought.
Who knows? Culmination of things. Diggs is out.
I wonder if he liked when Brady threw the surfaces.
Right? There you go.
Just,
What's that?
Just something to ponder. Well, what'd you think about Tom Brady chucking surfaces when he played?
Yeah, that's different. That's a different
era.
But, no.
Okay.
Oh, it's okay to cry now? Is that what you're saying, Tommy?
No, you're be emotional.
Your generation's more emotional
than our generation. I cry with Tommy all the time.
Well, we can all cry. We can all cry together.
Well, we do when we lose our best bets, but that's a little bit later on in the show.
That happened. Then I have no tears left.
Well, you have a lot of the tears that you've cried out this year. All right, let's get to the Falcons, who cracked the top 20.
Brought in a new guy, and he shot par, and it was good enough to beat the New York Giants. But when you play against Jaden Daniels, you're playing against a guy who's going to be about 6 under after the first 18. And the issue with being a rookie is you're going to try to speed up, try to match that. It's going to be tough to do. And obviously, you're not playing just against the Washington Commanders defense. You got to match what Jaden Daniels can do on offense, and I just don't see it happening.
You know what you could do?
The Falcons.
You could just be like some of our hosts around here that put in their 4, 5,
cheating.
5, 5.
I know you're not looking at me.
That was par.
It's not
okay,
you.
that was par.
Okay, yeah.
No, because
me putting the ball, bogey.
Here's my ball.
Me putting the scores in that fast couldn't be you.
No, I do take my time with everything.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Brandon?
I knew it wasn't me. It's all I got to say.
I got to see this in person.
Yeah, we got to get out there. Once football season's over.
5.
Especially down here in South Florida. Okay, we talked about the Raiders here. They won, but then they start coming down the draft order, Pete. So they rise in your power rankings, but it's interesting just given the Antonio Pierce comments this week, because would you think if he knew he had a little more job security that next year was in line that perhaps he wouldn't have said what he said this week?
No, players want to play to win. Coaches want to coach to win. I get it. I understand it. But it doesn't do the organization any good. I mean, look, you go out there, you want to do your very best. Everybody's watching you. That's your audition tape, even if you're not with the Raiders. The eye in the sky, it watches every move you make.
Yep.
So you go out and play. And coaches want to win, too. That's what they are. We're competitive. Competitive drive wants you to win. But for the good of the organization, it wasn't a good thing. So they clearly didn't get the call down. Let them score late in the game. Let them score. The call from the owner's box. And they stopped Jacksonville, and they won the game. Winning isn't good for this organization. Now they're out of the top 2 picks, and so they're going to have to do some maneuvering to go get a quarterback. And if you don't have a quarterback and you don't fix it, you have major problems. I laid out a plan today how they can fix it. Vikings signed Sam Darnold to an extension. Tom Brady, Michigan man, trades for J.J. McCarthy, Michigan man. The Vikings don't have a lot of assets. They traded up to get McCarthy. They traded up to get Dallas Turner. You can replenish your draft stock by trading J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy becomes the starting quarterback for the Raiders and Sam Darnold's the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings.
Boom.
Matchmaker.
I mean, that's pretty sick.
He did the whole Prisco-isms where he just does all the magic.
Back to the Raiders and winning that game. The funny thing is you watch Brock Bowers all smiles after the game in a post-game interview, and he's been fantastic. And what a home run they hit with him on the offensive side of the ball. But if only he realized that a win hinders his performance in the future.
For his future,
right.
Yes.
Yeah, although I looked at the stat there, him with Aiden O'Connell, he's getting targeted like
Pretty
10,
darn
11
good.
times every single game.
Well, the opening play of the game, he went like 40 yards. They forgot he was on the field. It was incredible.
All right, take a look at the rest of...
Big move, Max Crosby to the Cowboys? Find out the story. Cowboys Nation, how's it going? I'm here with a hot piece of news straight from the NFL's inner circles. Get ready, because something big is brewing, and Dallas might be about to make a bold move. So, here's the deal. The 2024 season has been full of ups and downs for many teams. While the Cowboys are focused on rebuilding, another franchise is going through a complete storm, the Las Vegas Raiders. With a 3-12 record and a total lack of progress, their future seems headed toward a full rebuild. But what does that have to do with Dallas? Let me explain. First, imagine who would be the perfect addition to bring aggression and consistency to the Cowboys' defense. A player who could make an immediate impact and elevate the team's fear factor even more. Got someone in mind? Hold on to that thought, because the name I'm about to reveal might just surprise you. Now, back to the Raiders. Max Crosby's frustration has become increasingly clear. On his podcast, he vented about the lack of stability in Las Vegas, mentioning years of inconsistency, coaching changes, and the challenge of maintaining a high-level defensive line. For a player with staggering numbers like 67 career sacks, over 400 pressures, and 200 tackles, the situation is understandably frustrating. And here's the big reveal. The Cowboys are reportedly negotiating to bring Max Crosby to Dallas. Reliable sources suggest that the Cowboys front office is seriously engaged in talks with the Raiders, putting together an enticing package. The deal would include future draft picks and promising players, but Dallas' primary focus is on adding Crosby to the defense. Just imagine the impact he would have playing alongside Micah Parsons. It would be absolutely devastating for opposing offenses. So, Cowboys fans, what do you think about this idea? Is Max Crosby the missing piece to take Dallas defense to the next level? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think this trade is worth the price? And don't forget to share this news with your friends on social media, smash that like button, and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive Cowboys content. Let's discuss and root for the future of this team we all love. That's it for today. See you next time, and go Cowboys!